Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Let's Vibe Podcast. Before we dive into today's episode, I just want to call out that you guys should definitely check out Emma Capote's episode on Rave Culture Cast about if it's safe for live events to return. Her and I both knew that we were going to be doing podcasts separately on this topic, and she did a really amazing job on that podcast. So I highly recommend you check out that episode, because she really covered a lot of the same things that I've been thinking and feeling that I don't really think I touched on as much, because I really just talked about the present current state situation at hand. And then I went into a lot of my followers' opinions and comments and stuff like that as well. So definitely check out her episode. I think it is a really great episode, and that way you kind of have a full scope of everything and how a lot of other people might be feeling going through what we're going through and navigating the situation and everything like that. So I just wanted to touch on that before we dive into today's episode. But nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you have an awesome day. Welcome back, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending your Tuesday with me. I hope you guys are doing well. Like I said, today's episode, we are talking about your guys' thoughts and feelings about festival season 2021, as well as sharing my thoughts and feelings as well. I think it's on a lot of people's minds, and there's been a lot of chit chat going around social media. So I just kind of wanted to let's just talk about it. Let's get everything out on the table. Let's air it out and everything like that. So we will dive into that. But otherwise, hi, I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to the podcast. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe. If you have not already, be sure to share this episode with a friend, especially because we are going to be talking about a lot of different things with festival season 2021. So if you want to share this with a friend, I would gladly appreciate it. You can also put this on your Instagram story and share it on there and tag me on there if you enjoy today's episode. Before we get into it, I do want to say this episode is sponsored by The Stage. So if you go to stagehoppers.com, you can find tons of other EDM and festival content just like this podcast here. And my YouTube channel, Vibe with Aid, you can find Bab's Life on there, Dubstep FBI, festival vlogs, tour footage, anything like that. So if you're interested in more EDM and festival content, definitely check out The Stage. If you are new to my podcast, first off, welcome to the Vibe Tribe. We start off every podcast episode with a vibe check. This is my way to check in with you guys, as well as to get you guys to check in with yourself as we are going through this weird time still of, things are starting to open back up, vaccines are up, cases are down. It's really important to just check in with yourself. So what we'll do is we're going to take 3 collective breaths together, and then I have some questions for you guys that you can think through and ponder through, and I'll answer them for myself. I always need to take a breath myself, but we're going to take that first one in, inhale it in, and exhale it back out. Second one in. And exhale it back out. Last one in. Hold it. 3, 2, 1. And exhale it back out. I always feel so good after doing that, you guys. Always feel so good. So I'm going to ask the following questions, and you can journal, think about it, whatever feels good to you. So, how am I feeling today? Do I like this feeling? What could this feeling be trying to teach me? What could make today better, or is there a need to? What are 3 things I'm grateful for today? What could I affirm for myself today, or a goal I can set for myself? Now, I'll go ahead and share how I'm feeling, and you can ponder those questions throughout today. I am feeling so good, you guys. I have just been in the best mood, the best feeling ever since quitting my job, honestly. There's been some uncertainty. There's been some times where I wasn't too sure. But otherwise, I am feeling so great. I'm feeling so in my flow, and I'm just loving every bit of this process. Business is doing well. Vibe with Aid is doing well. I really just cannot complain. Just for more back-end stuff, I quit my job, and I'm about to double my income in 1 month, which is pretty crazy for me. And so I'm just loving all of that. My coaching program is almost sold out. I'm thinking about the next steps for my coaching, and everything's just been going so well. And I've been getting opportunities left and right with Vibe with Aid and with the coaching business. And it's just all feeling really good to me. So I'm just loving every bit of this process. I love this feeling. I'm excited it's Friday. I honestly just want to keep working. I just like am in such a flow right now and I'm just loving it. But yeah, I love this feeling. I just want to keep going and keep pushing myself and just, yeah, it's all been really great. The days have just been flying by and it's just been so jammed packed, but I'm so, so grateful for it. 3 things I'm grateful for today. Number 1, my business and support of it. I am so glad I took this leap and am doing it, and it has brought me a lot closer to a lot of my followers and subscribers because a lot of them are my clients. And so it's really such a surreal feeling that you guys have supported me for so long, and now I get to help you guys in new ways. And just the calls I've been having, people have been following, the people that have joined in my business or supported my business or I've gotten to talk to, they've been following me since 2018, since 2019, since this thing started. And it's just so crazy that I now get to help them in a different way. Like I've helped a lot with festivals and raise and stuff like that, but now I get to help them with their life and it just feels really good. So I'm just really grateful for all of it. And I want to thank you guys for the support. I'm grateful for this past week and where I'm at in my life. I've just had a very pinch me surreal moment and I've just been soaking up that feeling. It's almost been 2 months since my last day at my full-time job, and I've just been able to drastically change my life and drastically change my outlook and everything, and it just feels good. I'm so, so excited about all of it. The last thing I'm grateful for is you guys. Like I said, the conversations I've been having with people that are interested in my coaching. Outside of that, I've been getting a lot of support on all of my content on YouTube and Instagram and everything like that, and I really feel I'm having the year almost I should have had last year, but everything happens for a reason. Everything happens as it's meant to. And I'm just feeling really good for all of the support on my content and everything with you guys, all your DMs. And yeah, it's just been really great. I'm just in the best place right now. And I'm glad to bring you guys along with me. The next thing we have is a goal or affirmation that you can set for yourself. I will pull one butterfly card here. I think I'm just going to pick a random card instead of shuffling today. This one's really calling to me. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can check it out. Ooh, I like this one. It says, I don't need to control life. I trust in magic and miracles. I actually wrote this as an affirmation, I think, for next week on my coaching page. Just being able to trust. So I don't need to control life. I trust in magic and miracles. I think it's so, so important to just let go sometimes and surrender to whatever is happening to you and just let it happen. Too many times we try and just control every bit of our life, and sometimes we just need to trust that it's all going to work out. And in magic and miracles, things can really happen, you guys. So I really want to start talking about how anything is really possible if you just believe it, because it really is. Anything is really possible. And some of you might not believe that, but we'll work on that. And then the last thing I want to do, I want to start giving you guys my song of the week. This is getting recorded on Friday, so this is going to be your guys' song of the week and my song of the week. I already know it because it came out. I have 2 songs. And I'm also going to make a playlist that I will link in on the podcast, the podcast Instagram. I'll make a playlist for Let's Vibe Podcast. That way, whenever you guys are like, oh, what song was that? You guys can go check out that playlist. The first song, my man Chris Lake dropped a new song and I'm freaking out. It's called Beat Freak. So good.
Take me to church, you gotta teach me.
So good. And then the second song of the week is going to be John Summit, Make Me Feel. And then the second song is going to be John Summit's Make Me Feel. So good. Where's the chorus? It's the way you look at me. That is a new segment that I'm going to start adding as just song of the week, just to give you guys some recommendations and everything. So I will make a playlist that way you guys can refer back to it. I also have 2 Spotify playlists I update regularly, and that is my Current Vibes playlist. That spans EDM and not EDM and kind of goes all over the place, just whatever I'm vibing to for that month. New releases, new discoveries, stuff like that. And then I also have House Music Fridays, which I update every Friday with the latest releases in house music. So those are some things to look forward to. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy that new segment. Jumping right in, we got to talk about this hot topic, you guys. This is what the episode is about. This is what I wanted it to be about, because I could just sense there's a lot going on in our community about going to music festivals. Is it safe to go? Is it not safe to go? And there's also a lot of like hostility and like bashing also that's happening that I wanted to talk about, because people are making choices to go to music festivals and then people are like canceling them, or they're canceling like people for putting on these festivals and stuff like that. So let's just like all get it out. Let's just all talk about it. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts to start, and then we'll go into, I asked you guys on Instagram, on an Instagram post, and also on Instagram stories. And then I also got a couple of responses from people in the Vibe Tribe. So let's just talk it all out. Let's get it all out in the open. You know what I mean? So I'm going to start off with my thoughts and where I stand on everything. I did post a YouTube video that was talking about Ubbi Dubbi, and so I wanted to talk about it here, that I will be going to Ubbi Dubbi. I'm going to try and be as safe as possible. My personal reasoning is just I work from home. I have the ability to quarantine. Texas is allowed to register for vaccines if you are 16 plus and you don't, there's no limitations basically. Starting Monday, the 29th, I think that date is. And so I'm going to try and get at least the first shot of the vaccine. It might be really hard, but I'm going to try my best to try and get the vaccine. Otherwise, we have VIP tickets. I have the ability to quarantine and work from home. I really don't see anyone. Like, the only time I leave my house is to go to the grocery store, go to Chase's, and go to the gym. That's about it. That's all I do. So I have the ability to quarantine and work from home and try to be safe that way. I'm going to be in VIP also as well. I might be in GA from time to time, but I'm going to try and really do my best, kind of just be a role model and set the standard. I talked about this in the YouTube video. If there is anyone to go to a music festival that's going to try and happen in Texas, I should be there just to like document it all and kind of set the role model to people of like, we have these opportunities to have these events back. Let's try and not fuck it up. You know what I mean? So I'm going to try and be as thorough as possible with that review and what goes on and with the vlogs and everything, just so you know what to expect in case you do decide to go to a music festival. They haven't announced their health and safety procedures. I know it's at 75% capacity. They're requiring masks. And then they also have this clear health pass, which I think is going to do vaccine checks or a test check. And we'll talk a little bit about this because there are some people that are for, you know, having a vaccine or checking to have a negative test. There seems to be other people that are like, no, only vaccinated people should go, which I thought was really interesting. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but I'm going to try and be as safe as possible. I know I'm different than a lot of other cases where some people are just going because they miss music festivals and they want to do that. And so I just hope that they can try and be as safe as possible. So I'm going to try and create content around that just to make sure that we all know, like, hey, we're putting ourselves at risk. Let's not fuck this up, because then other festivals are going to get put on hold, or there's just going to be a lot of eyes on us because we fucked it up. You know what I mean? I'm going to try and do my best. I'm going to try and get vaccinated and everything like that. Otherwise, I've been very lucky, knock on wood, that I have not gotten COVID yet. And I've been able to stay safe and everything like that. So I'm hoping to do the same. Obviously, I'm going to try and get tested and everything beforehand, just to make sure that I'm not putting anyone at risk or stuff like that. So I hope other people can take the same precautions. I'm hoping to do a vlog leading up to Ubbi Dubbi and after Ubbi Dubbi, just to show the right way to go to festivals while still being in a pandemic. So I'm really just hoping to be a role model and kind of set the standard for going to festivals moving forward. So that is where my thoughts are. It's a lot sooner than I thought it was going to be happening, but on the same front, someone has to be the first one to do it. And it doesn't surprise me that Disco Donnie is going to try and be that one. A lot of people don't know the background of Disco Donnie, really, I feel like, but I watched a documentary about Disco Donnie. No, I watched a documentary called This Is or What We Started, and it's on Netflix, and Disco Donnie is actually in it. And he's always been the rebellious type, you guys. Like, that's just always been him. I don't think he would put himself on the line if he didn't think it was a safe event to happen, and he's doing everything he can. It's interesting, and I talked about this in my YouTube video, but people don't hold Disco Donnie to the same level of Pasquale for some reason. And I don't know if that's just because his personality has turned off a lot of people, or just because he functions a lot in Texas and people already don't like Texas because of the government in place here in Texas. And so it's just really interesting because everyone's like, oh yeah, like EDC can happen in May, but then like Ubbi Dubbi's only a month earlier, and they're just like, oh, fuck Disco Donnie, cancel Disco Donnie and stuff like that. So I think that dynamic is really interesting. Even though a lot can happen, and Biden put out that by May 1st everyone will be eligible for the vaccine, and so between now, which when I'm recording this it's a month until Ubbi Dubbi, a lot can happen between cases and vaccinations and everything like that. So I definitely think it is more likely going to happen. And then the people that are attending, just need to be careful and set the standard so that we can have more events happen. I'm still interested to see what their health and safety precautions will be. I think they're holding off until they have more affirmative direction on that, which I think is why we haven't heard anything about it, other than that they're going to require masks and they have this clear health pass. I think they're still fine-tuning those details. I'm an ambassador for Ubbi Dubbi, by the way, so like I don't have the inside knowledge. I get the same amount of knowledge as you guys. So that is just what I'm speculating. But Disco Donnie is really active on his Twitter if you guys want more info about Ubbi Dubbi and stuff like that. He's always posting stuff, and you can get refunds and everything. I think they are also allowing refunds up until the day of. So like if you end up like getting sick, decide to stay home, which is what I recommend, definitely look into the refund policy. And I know that Disco Donnie has it on it. Disco Donnie Presents, they have a COVID statement. And on there, it says, like, in the event that you get sick, like, it's up to you to not show up, and you can request a refund and stuff like that. So definitely keep that on the lookout, because I know that would keep people that are sick, like, not at home because they want to go to the event, or they don't want to lose out on the money because they can't get a refund. So with any festival that you have tickets to, definitely look into what their policy is on that, just so you can get your money back or something like that. As for the next thing that is on a lot of people's minds, which is EDC, I actually woke up to a post from Pasquale basically saying they submitted everything to Nevada or the city of Las Vegas, and we now have a date of April 8th to hear back. So just in about 2 weeks, we'll know what's going on with EDC. I asked a lot of my followers how they feel about it, and a lot of people are wanting EDC to move to the fall. I think I would like EDC in the fall just for more time in planning. It's my first EDC in a while because I went EDC 2017 and 2018. So I would definitely like more time to plan, as I'm sure a lot of other people would, because I'm sure a lot of international travelers won't be able to come to EDC. I know it's artists, it hasn't been an issue, he said. But I know for people that are from out of the country, like they might have an issue coming because they might have to quarantine when they come home, and they just can't take off a lot of work and stuff like that. I think for my life, it would just help my bank account and myself if like EDC would be in fall. So I guess we'll wait and see what happens with that. But same thing, Pasquale wouldn't put on an event if he didn't think he could make it safe. So they're doing everything in their power to make it happen, similar to Disco Donnie is with Ubbi Dubbi. So we just kind of have to trust and see if that happens. But if it doesn't happen, then I will probably be going to Seismic Dance event. They're doing like a pod style, limited capacity, mask requirement, that kind of thing for their event. I think they're also doing either vaccination or test clearances for that as well. So with all these festivals, they're really just trying to figure out how to put on a safe event and how to keep the attendees safe, the artists safe, the workers safe, and everything like that. So we're just kind of waiting for all that to happen. I think part of me was wanting to kind of just, take it easy and wait for festivals to come back slowly. But, someone's going to be the first one to do it. And so we'll see how Ubbi Dubbi goes, and then how EDC follows, and how other festivals follow. So yeah, that's kind of where my head's at with everything. I'm kind of just like going with the flow. I'm going to try and be as safe as possible with like quarantining, trying to get vaccinated, stuff like that, and documenting this whole process, because I think, as festivals come back, we're going to see a lot of festivals with health and safety precautions. And I know there's going to be a lot of fear and anxiety with a lot of people. So I want to do my best to document everything as best as I can and provide tips as we kind of enter this new wave of going to festivals and stuff for a little bit. So that's kind of where my head's at. I'm happy to have an open discussion about it. Leave a comment down below or reach out to me. I know it's my own personal choice to attend this event, so I'm going to try and do what I can to make sure that it goes well and I can act as a role model for other people going to these events. Because I know that there's a lot of fear with, everyone's going to be drinking or under substances and the masks are just going to come off and stuff like that too. So I really want to be there to see it for myself and see how these festivals handle it, how security handles it, and stuff like that as well. So, I kind of seem a lot more like uppity and kind of, planned out about it, but I do have my own anxieties about it, especially if EDC were to happen in May. I haven't been on a plane in over a year. I haven't been to an airport in over a year. So I'm right there with you guys in terms of traveling and stuff like that. And I'm not afraid to share those anxieties and fears with you guys, but I do have some, of that. And also going to a festival again and being in a crowd, I also feel like that's going to be very weird. So that's even more so why I want to document it and share it with you guys, just to kind of show my side of things. And I think that's why a lot of you guys like my content and subscribe to it, because I give the more personal, detailed view to everything. So that's just where I'm overall feeling with it. But yeah, like I said, let's get into the feedback from other people. All right. So the first thing that I got feedback on, I did an Instagram post just to kind of like start the conversation. And so a lot of people, let me just scroll through. A lot of them were saying, I would love if Fest had negative test requirements, checked you at the site, or even had a vaccination requirement. People are planning on attending once they're fully vaccinated, and they'll get an extra COVID test just for precaution. People wanting safety measures in place, on-site symptom checks, proof of vaccination. People are nervous but excited, not ready for the body aches. I know my body is not ready to go back. People are overwhelmed about, having these big festivals as their first festival. A lot of people going to EDC for the first time, but people are ready with their masks and ready to just dance it out. People are happy. People are excited. Some people are going to be fully vaccinated by UBI and by EDC, which will give them some ease. People are down to attend once they're fully vaccinated and others around them are fully vaccinated. They're feeling more confident about late summer festivals. I gotten some people that are more confident about fall festivals. Some anxiety over being around crowd again, but also bittersweet to kind of join back into that. Let's see what else. I had someone from Ontario. So Vibe with Amy said, I'm in Ontario and I don't think Ontario festivals will happen this year. Maybe in September, but not likely in my opinion. And I'm not going to be traveling to the States for festivals with COVID either, as I would have to take even more time off work and I can't afford that. So yeah, that's what I was talking about, thinking of how if you're from out of the country and you have these quarantine regulations you have to follow when you come back, is it really worth it for you to take that time off? And so she definitely brought up a good point with that, is that probably for EDC, how many international people are we going to get? It might be a little bit different. People are saying I'm only buying tickets if the festival already has a solid testing plan laid out. Elements is one of those festivals. Excited, nervous is what I'm seeing. So happy and excited for the return. Safety is of the biggest importance. Someone also asked if I'm going to do a meetup at UBI. I will not be having a meetup at UBI. I will not be doing any meetups at festivals until I think it's safe to. It's just personal preference. And I'll usually post what sets I'll be at. So if you find me, you can definitely say hi. Be conscious about that, because I'm not going to want to hug you really or shake hands. I'm nervous about that part. It's going to be weird. Might do a little air hug or something. I'm stoked festivals are coming back, but I'm also relieved I wasn't already committed to the ones happening earlier. I don't know if I feel comfortable being at one of the first ones back, but I also don't know if I'd be able to say no. Hoping the early ones go off well so the rest can follow. I feel a bit uncomfortable with those plans in the next months. Much more comfortable with the idea of fall festivals this year. I'd like to see much more people vaccinated before they come back. Some people thinking it's way too soon for that to happen, as most people aren't able to get vaccinated. But this one also mentioned that she's not judging anyone that decides to go. She's just speaking personally, she wouldn't be ready. Someone talking about it'd be a lot better if Electric Forest would hurry up and let us know. I know we haven't heard anything about Forest and it's March. That freaks me out. I need to figure out my plane ticket. If Electric Forest is supposed to happen end of June, I need to figure out my plane ticket, honestly. Let's see. I'm going to Ubby Dubby and Abduction. I'm fully vaccinated. I'm going to wear my mask the whole time and try my best to socially distance. That's perfect. Honestly, I feel like I'm ready, but then it's so surreal that I'm kind of anxious about full sending it. I miss the only thing I could escape from. Time will tell. I live in Texas, so why not go to Ubby when it's in my backyard? But should I just save the money and do it for EDC? I have my ticket for EDC, but I'm scared to book anything and it not happen again. I'm on the fence of sending both. Either way, I'd love to meet you. I love your post videos, podcast. Oh, thanks. This person's going to SMF, EZU, Lost Lands. I'll be wearing a mask the whole time and keeping my sanitizer close. Definitely testing and quarantining before and after. So I love that. I hope a lot of people are going to do the same as well. People being nervous. I'm being more comfortable since I'm getting vaccinated this week has brought me a lot of peace and comfort and hope. Festivals feel so far away. I don't know that I would be personally comfortable attending any this year if I had the means to. It feels like vaccines are hard to come by here and we are in the general public phase. Someone said bring them on. I'm 1000% ready. However, the same can't be said for my body. If EDC happens in May, it's going to be rough. Yep. Let's see. Very excited for the return of Fest. It's all the same kind of general themes, anxious, thought people would be happier. They're ready, but they're hoping, vaccines can speed up and stuff. So that's a general consensus from that post. And so then I posted to my Instagram story just to continue the conversation. Had about an average of 800 responses to these polls. My story views don't get a whole lot of views, side note, but this was really interesting to see. So I asked about I asked about spring festivals and how they felt. I got 828 responses of 46% of people saying, let's go, spring festivals, I'm ready, that kind of thing. And 54% saying too soon. So that was pretty split down the middle, which I was a little bit surprised by. I thought it was going to be a lot more leaning towards the too soon, but it seems to be in the middle a little bit. And so definitely there's some mixed feelings there. Some people are like, you know what, let's make it happen. And then there's other people that are like, it's too soon. Then I asked about fall festivals. So I got 878 responses and 88% people said that they are ready for fall festivals. 12% still gonna wait. So I think for that 12%, they're probably looking towards 2022 to see if something's gonna happen. No, they're probably waiting towards 2022 to kind of make their return most likely. But that's up to them and that's their choice. Just like the people that want to go to the spring festivals, it's their choice as well. I think especially if you are more on the anxious side or if you live in a home or you have a job that puts you at risk, then I would definitely make that same call as well. But I work from home. I don't see anyone. So that's why I'm kind of making the choice I'm making as well and trying to limit it that way. And then I asked about Ubby Dubby. So I got 822 responses on if you are attending Ubby Dubby. 14% of people are going to be attending Ubby Dubby. 86% are not attending, which didn't really surprise me. My audience is predominantly in Arizona and Texas because those are the two places I've lived. But otherwise it's pretty spread out. So that response didn't necessarily surprise me. And of that 14%, I think it was like around 100-ish people of my followers that saw that story are going to be attending. And then I asked about EDC, how many of them are going to attend if it's in May or in October. And that was 30% people attending EDC if it happens in May and 70% moving to the fall. And so that was around 797 responses on that one. This one I was really curious about. And I asked, are you going to bash people if they attend a music festival? Because you see the keyboard warriors on Twitter coming for people left and right if they're going to attend. That's where I see the biggest divide is on Twitter. And that is just where like Plur is just gone, because I see the one side of that they're making of like, you're putting a lot of people's health at risk and like all these things. But then I see the other side of like, well, if there's going to be mask requirements, there's going to be testing, there's going to be vaccinations, like, all these things, like, why should it not happen, And so I think that when it comes to these things, it's okay to disagree on it. But when you completely call someone stupid, tell them that they're going to like kill a bunch of people and they should kill themselves, like, that's just not necessary. It's their choice to be making. And I'm hoping that people are making the smarter choice. And obviously there's going to be people that, might attend the festival while experiencing some symptoms, and hopefully that having these test checks will help. So it's just one of those things where, like, you are leaving it up to the person and making that choice. And we're just going to hope that everyone makes that choice. But to go and bash people for it, like, we've gone a whole year without music festivals. Some people need these events to come back, and they're going to make that choice, and they're hopefully going to be as safe as possible. And so that's why I want to keep on providing content to help those people that are going, so they don't feel like they're going completely in the dark, and they know what they need to be doing so we can keep having these events. Anyway, that's my soapbox moment. But out of the 820 responses, 13 people said yes, they're going to bash people for attending these events, for possibly spreading more or possibly causing a spike. That kind of thing is what I'm getting at. And then 684 people said no, which is good. The majority said no, that they wouldn't bash other people for going. A lot of the feedback I was getting was because it's their personal choice. And then the final one, I said depends. And so 123 people said depends. And I have some thoughts on that from people, because I asked in the next question, like, oh, feel free to share any further thoughts about that. The general consensus was like, I'll bash someone if, like, they post a photo and they're in the crowd and their mask is completely off, or like something along those lines. It's when people aren't following the rules, or they knowingly went to the event having COVID, or they knowingly went to the event having symptoms and they didn't stay home. That was where a lot of that was coming from. And that, I respect that. That's keeping people accountable. They should be following those safety precautions and things like that. And if they aren't, then yeah, I totally get that. But if that event hasn't even happened and you're canceling them from going, that's just like, doesn't make sense to me. And so then health and safety, I did ask a question: what health and safety precautions would have you feeling comfortable in attending events? So let me pull that up. More hand washing stations, vaccine checks, test checks, vaccination card, at least one shot. Attendees must have proof of vaccine. My friend Austin, he's so funny. Sloshy rave mud baths with lots of COVID on top. He's completely kidding, but that's just funny. Being vaccinated, having vaccine cards or negative tests, still having to wear masks, temperature checks or express entry for those vaccinated. A lot of people talking about, those kinds of things. BB said a lab PCR test, then a rapid at the gate to get in, or proof of vaccine. There was like a distinction of like everyone should be vaccinated. So that's interesting. I don't think festivals can require that, just because a lot of people can have allergic reactions to vaccines, I've been hearing. So for some people, getting the vaccine is not a possibility for them. So I don't think that's something that will come. But I'd really be interested. So I think that's why they're allowing, showing that you have multiple negative tests and stuff like that. Mask regulations. This girl said, why aren't influencers talking about clear on-site staff or anything tech? I mean, for me personally, I just don't have the info. I've been waiting to get the info about, how to take these precautions seriously and like what's going to be required of people. So there's just a lot of information that's up in the air that like I haven't gotten, or else I'd be putting it out there. So I thought that was interesting. She said that. Someone said, I really like the pot style, but like how could anyone control that in a camping festival? That's true. Hand sanitizer stations. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how they up porta potty cleaning and hand sanitizers and like washing hands and stuff like that, how all of that's going to change. Because that stuff was crusty and nasty. So we'll see how all that goes. Someone was saying not until the vaccine is more widely given. I don't want to bring COVID home to anyone. See, that with that argument, it's like, well, if you live with people that like you could potentially pass it to that are more higher risk, then like you probably shouldn't go, which sucks because then you get to see everyone else having fun. But it's just one of those things. All the same thing. I'm seeing definitely less capacity. Yeah, a lot of people saying must be vaxxed to go, but getting a vaccine, not available to everyone. And I'm not saying because of eligibility. I'm saying because of allergic reactions or something like that. So I just don't think that's feasible. Someone said a bubble. A bubble. In Wizard of Oz, how Glinda the Good Witch, she flies down in a little bubble. Could you imagine if we were just all in our little bubbles? Or, the hamster bubbles that, people, blow up and you get to play in? Imagine if all of us were in one of those. It would get really hot, but just, bumping into each other. I'm sorry, this is not the time to joke about this stuff, but that's just a bubble. She just put... a significantly lower infection rate among the vulnerable. Yeah, that would be ideal to see. To be safe and stay home when they are sick, wash their hands, cover their mouths. There's only so much a festival can do. It's a personal responsibility for everyone. Totally. Masks will help a lot. Vaccine verification. Yeah. I think everyone attending should show proof of vaccination and testing, but I don't trust testing fully because you can test negative one day and positive the day after you enter. So yeah, that's a lot of the general consensus of how people would feel safe about attending, what precautions festivals would want to take. Here's some of the other thoughts that they gave me as well from the last question. Someone asked, do you think Forest will be happening regular dates or August? Michigan is moving fast on vaccine. I have no idea about Forest. I know nothing. I won't attend a festival or concert until enough people are vaccinated. I won't punish anyone for going. People are in pain. I do blame the organizers for trying to throw it. Only way I'd bash is if someone knowingly goes to a fest with COVID. Other than that, do you? Rage on. Some festivals are too soon to go and get the vax, so I might judge for not waiting for vax first. The rhetoric of people hating is getting old. Just my opinion. If you don't agree, let it be. If you plan to attend spring and summer festivals, be respectful of those around you. Don't be all up and close to people you don't know. Speaking or touching, give people space. Yes, that is something I'm worried about. If one of you guys want to come and say hi to me at festivals that I'm at, totally do that. Just give me a little space at first because it's just going to be a little weird. It'll be a little weird, but it'll be okay. We can elbow bump or air hug, whatever works. From a Canadian, it seems that crazy that life is going back to normal so fast in the US. Yeah. No one should judge others for their decisions. We all do the best we can with our lives. Not so sure about the whole testing negative thing. Someone could get tested, then contract COVID right after the test. Not so confident on rapid testing though. If most attendees were vaccinated, I think that would be safest. I feel like postponing Spring Fest would give people more time to plan, which is good. I wouldn't bash someone, but I'd be disappointed if people didn't follow precautions on purpose. People should only go to festivals if they're vaccinated. Wouldn't bother me as much. No shame if other people feel more comfortable than I do at this point. I'll still have FOMO. I won't be attending any, but have fun and stay safe. It's all up to the individual. With vaccines coming out, it's a personal choice to attend. I'd feel jealous because they get to enjoy and be careless. It could be a potential super spreader of COVID. Super excited. I hope to finally get to meet you at UBW. I hope to see you too. I had COVID in February and CDC says we have to wait 3 months till I can get the vaccine. Well, if you've had COVID, you have the antibodies, so that protects you, I think, a little bit more than the vaccine. I'm not mistaken. So you're in the clear until those 3 months hit, and then you can get the vaccine. I'd only be upset if people are irresponsible when traveling and attending these festivals. Fest should not be happening until the vaccine is widely available to the general pop. No one should be going to festivals until the country hits herd immunity, period. This girl asked me about meeting up at UBW. No meetups at UBW. As long as there are precautions in place, no judgments. Personally, I think it should be everyone's own decision. No hate on any people's decisions, but I feel like people are going to bash on people and it sucks. Yeah, I can't wait to post my Instagrams and get fully canceled, you guys. If you're fully vaccinated with 2 dosages, I hope you're still wearing a mask. On EDC Vegas, would have gone in May if my brother's graduation wasn't moved. I want the world to open. I just don't want another surge in cases. Be safe and be smart and don't post pics and vids without masks. Set a good example. I think the biggest part is going to be how the festivals are trying to be safe. We're all doing our best, and if we follow the COVID rules, then rage on. I just think it's shitty to not have an answer from EDC if it's happening or not. I'm a planner. Same girl. I'm the same way. Grateful, but also definitely just want people to be safe and healthy no matter what. Anyone who's in a position to go, I'm happy for them. I'd be doing the same if I could. I have no control on other people's actions, so I'm not going to waste time bashing people. That's a good perspective on that. Me and my boyfriend will be fully vaccinated by mid-April, so I don't see why not. Life goes on. People can attend whatever they're comfortable with. 2020 was too hard to judge people for choices now. I want to respect the choices others make as long as they respect others. I may bash if attendees post pics, vids, blatantly breaking the rules, bragging about going with symptoms, etc. If there was something close to Virginia, I definitely would, like Moonrise. I think we all need to be careful about which festivals we go to so we can stay safe. No need to rush. I understand the impatience of wanting to get back, but let's do the right thing. Truly scared to let people know we're going to Ubby Dubby because I feel like they'll be mean. And that's the last thing on that is a lot of people have been talking to me and they're like, are you afraid of, backlash and stuff like that? And I'm just like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I've already explained what I'm going to do and try and quarantine and try and be safe and document this whole thing. I can't control people's emotions, and so I've tried my best to explain myself. I think I've over-explained my stance on where I'm at. So if Ubby Dubby comes and I post on Instagram and all I'm getting is hate, it is what it is. People are going to let out their emotions. I can't control that. I'm doing what I think is best for me, as is a lot of people are doing what's best for them. And it's just crazy. Like, this should be a time of excitement, but people are just like being hateful about it. And a lot of other creators have reached out to me or that I've talked to. They're scared to post about these events that they're going to. But I've just tried to be like, you know what, as a creator, document the whole experience. Show this is how I went to this event and this is how I did it safely. And hopefully after these events, we'll get some good numbers back that we can keep on having these events. Drive-ins still happened. Drive-ins are a little different because you have more separation. So it'll be interesting how these festivals happen and what information we get back from them. But I think we should all be kind of like having an open mind and being curious about it and seeing, if this does go well, then great. If it doesn't go well, then we have some lessons and things to learn, and to come back to and stuff. But like I've mentioned time and time again, it's bound to happen at some point. And I saw someone's tweet being like, there is no right amount of timeline for this to happen. Like, there's never going to be a right time, or there's always going to be some if, ands, or buts about it. And so we'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens. So that was all the feedback I got on my Instagram. And then I did get three more entries from Vibe Tribe members. So I'll go ahead and read those. Hi, Aid. It's Kenneth Wong, and I wanted to respond to your call for thoughts for your podcast episode about the return of music festivals in 2021. For me, my concern about music festivals isn't so much about the health aspect or the coronavirus. It's about the quality of the festivals themselves. As the organizers for Lightning in a Bottle said in their explanation for canceling the 2021 edition, festivals aren't meant to be events with social distancing. If I'm going to a festival, I want to get the full experience. I want to get all the carefree fun and interaction that makes festivals so great. I don't want to be shuffled around under a series of rules and restrictions because, hey, let's try to kind of sort of party while this global crisis is happening all around us. Furthermore, I've hardly gone to any festival, so there's still a pretty new thing for me. I don't want my first time at a given festival to be this COVID-altered version of that festival. I do think going to festivals this year makes more sense for festival veterans like yourself, since you know what the festival is really supposed to be like, so you can check out this new way of doing them and compare. At this point, I'm unlikely to go to any festivals until they can be brought back in their pre-pandemic forms with no rules regarding social distancing, mask wearing, pod spacing, etc. I might make an exception for Illfest in September because that's the one festival I went to before the pandemic started. That one's in Austin, by the way. And maybe by September, things will have improved to the point where COVID rules aren't needed anymore. Thanks for sending that in, Kenneth. It's good to hear from you. I hope you're doing well. And you are expressing a lot of concerns that a lot of people have also talked about. No one really brought that up, but it's a conversation that Chase and I have had because he's going to his first EDC with me. He's never been at EDC. I went in 2017 and 2018. He's never been. And so his concerns was, I don't want a watered down EDC. Like, I want the real thing. which Pasquale has talked about, there's not going to be any issues with production. There's not going to be any issues with artists. Even though a lot of artists are international, some of them have gotten around it through work visas and travel visas and stuff like that. And so you're definitely expressing a lot of those same things. And similarly, we've also had the same thoughts with pods. Like, do we really want to go to a festival that has pods? Like, is that really going to be just as fun? So that's definitely something that's been on my mind, and I'm sure a lot of others. So I really appreciate you bringing up those points. And I think that's why a lot of other festivals like Coachella isn't happening, because they don't want to put on this rushed event in October just for them to try and rush and do a Coachella in April. So you're bringing up definitely a really good point. So I appreciate that feedback. Casey said, I'm personally feeling so positive about festivals. I know how respectful the rave community is, and if everyone loves it all as much as it seems, everyone would be doing anything to experience it again. Vaccine or negative test and quarantine beforehand. I would do that and so much more just to fest again. Thanks for sending that in, Casey. And then the last one we have is Melly. I love you, Melly. The last one we have is Melly. She says, hey, Aid, for festivals returning, I am so very excited at the possibility of being there and having live music again. I definitely think I would only be comfortable with myself being vaccinated and hopefully the crowd being vaccinated or mostly vaccinated / having safety precautions. We will see with time, but I'm hopeful we can return to our happy places soon. Yeah, that's a good way to wrap it up. I am really excited for us to return to our happy places and to get, back to where we were and everything. I hope you guys are too. So I really want to thank everyone for getting your guys' feedback in. I think it's really helpful just to kind of see where everyone stands. There is still some division, between if these festivals should be happening or not. But I think at the end of the day, it's up to the person to kind of make that choice for themselves and make as best of a choice as they can. But then also for the festival to provide a safe environment and safety precautions for that event to happen so the attendees, workers, artists, and everyone can feel safe. And we can bring these things back and hopefully they can go off without a hitch and they can, go and they can just go well. So I'm feeling really hopeful. I think as a community, we're all just trying our best to figure this out. It was really helpful just to kind of get a pulse and see where everyone's at. And I hope this kind of gave you some more insight as to where I stand on it and where I think our community can go with it. And so it is going to be very telling. UBW will be the guinea pig. And if EDC happens in May, that will also be a guinea pig. Same thing with Seismic Dance Event in Austin. So it'll be interesting to see how those things go. And I'm hoping just to get info and feedback from all of these things to share with you guys. If you guys are not feeling comfortable in going, that's totally fine. Hopefully I can provide some content around that to make you feel safe for the time that you do decide to go. So yeah, I really do appreciate you guys checking out today's episode. And I really appreciate those who submitted for today's episode. This could not have gone more perfectly in terms of what I wanted with this episode. And I hope it brought some insight to you and some other info to you as well. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or DM me on Instagram. Or if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to comment below. We can keep this conversation going in the comments of the YouTube video, or if you want to share this to your Instagram story and tag me at Vibe with Aid or at Let's Vibe Podcast. Share this with a friend because I'm sure a lot of us are feeling similar, and I think it helps to know that a lot of people are sharing those same feelings you might be feeling, so you don't have to feel less alone in what's going on as we welcome festivals to come back and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from here and how we move forward as a community. And yeah, we'll just keep on trucking along. So thank you so much for tuning in and vibing with me today for today's episode. I hope you guys are staying safe and well, and I will see you guys in the next one. Stay vibey, Vibe Tribe. Bye.